All right, here we go. We'll start with NASDAQ, just because that's been a nice short trade lately. Um, we just had the November close. We've we have taken out the previous high. We've closed above the prior month. After we had that big manipulation down, which ended up creating these super clean lows here. Um, So one day we'll have to use this as a nice point of interest, but yeah, it's probably a while away. Um, but yeah, we have not displaced here. Um, Going down to the weekly now. There we go. And we've created relative equal highs here. On the Qs we haven't. It has kind of broken out there, but on Nasdaq we still have them. And on the weekly, still nothing very clear, very choppy. We've been watching this little wedge here as a retail pattern, and that's, I don't know, we did come back here and respect the CE of last week after we did come back and uh, hold this. Wow, I think I had this on here earlier, but you can see this has been a nice interesting area for the higher time frame as an inversion. I guess I'll leave it green, maybe a little actually yellow because it's an inversion. But yeah, this weekly inversion's been holding price, and I mean before we were souping it, and now we traded through it, and now we're respecting it to the upside. So I do think this does head higher, but it is the weakest, most obvious weakest pair that we've been able to short. So maybe this is a little higher. But yeah, so far we're still holding these bearish PD arrays. We did get that move down. Nothing here on the daily so far besides this displacement still holding, and it is being respected still. So maybe another short could happen. We'll see. But zooming in, we've disrespected that shift on the 4 hour. So I'm actually thinking it won't be a nice short until later. But yeah. Smooth highs here we can take. Now we've actually made them even more of an obvious draw on liquidity. All right, relative equal highs there. We have had a market structure shift. Just going back to the daily. Yeah, we came down and respected the equilibrium of the new week opening gaps there. That's interesting. And then yeah, on the 4 hour we do have a shift occurring. Um, there may be one down here on the 1 hour. We'll have to check that out. But we'll have to see what happens here for this to be confirmed. We still need some more candles to print. No shifts here. Failed there. So interesting. And we are still respecting this PD array. So it's kind of a tough area to want to get short. This one made a lot more sense because we did just come off of that order block that we respected on the daily, and we had souped these old relative equal lows, so it made sense. And then coming into here, the SMT we had with ES. But I mean, with this shift here, we do need to see what happens um, on Sunday today. So we'll have to see what happens there. Um, so I'm pretty sure there's an SMT here with the other charts, but yeah, it's kind of tricky. Um, So far we have shifted here on the 1 hour here though, so that's good. So maybe we come down, we take out these highs, come a bit lower, and then back up again. It could easily just keep working out this retail pattern. All right. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say there. I mean, maybe 30-minute has something. AM soup this high for that long. We've taken out the SMT here, here, and now we have relative equalize. So just a nice little soup area. Maybe we'll come up here and tap into the top of this for a short. We'll see. As of right now, this isn't anything I would trade um, unless we came down and then get long for the soup, these highs. So yeah, yeah. Here's the SMT down here, and then ES has taken out this high. We had SMT here. So yeah, I'd actually be looking long um, as a higher probability play for me. Just because now we do have bullish SMT, which is playing out, and I'm pretty sure if we look at everything else, it is playing out. Yep, and we've got SMT here that's been playing. So yeah, I'd be looking long, maybe a retrace down, and that would be the long in Russell maybe. But anyways, don't want to get confused with all this stuff that's happening. So yeah, I'd actually be slightly bullish due to the clear and let me look at the news real quick just to confirm what happened on Friday. So yeah, Friday we had PCE. Oh no. No, 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 no. We had Thanksgiving. I forgot. Okay. So Thanksgiving Wednesday was that short. Thanksgiving morning. So after the holiday came and take out the low, double SMT, very clear, and you could have longed the ES there. And SMT occurred at the open, so that's significant. Right at the open, both of them did. So yeah, double SMT there for the long. Yeah, I'd just be looking for further continuation. That's my bias. So yeah, I think we've confirmed that this is the bottom, at least for now, for some of the indices. We have reached into um, the invalidation of that, or the target for that. Like we've taken out highs and everything. So we've taken out these relative equal highs. I don't think that's the end of it. I think there is at least some more. But yeah, that's what I'm saying here. I think we need more price action to develop. Friday was an obvious trade, which has already played out. But Nasdaq is setting up these highs, so that's the idea now is to look for something to set up that makes sense into those highs. So maybe Sunday we kind of maybe we gap down or we gap up, and maybe there's a short after we take the highs out or something. So we'll see. As for ES, pretty similar. Oh. That's not ES. I was like, that looks exactly the same as NASDAQ. It's because it is NASDAQ. Wow, yeah, so ES really got a move up in November, displacing so far. We'll see what happens in December. And coming down, tapping into the new week opening gaps, or maybe that's a new month opening gap, I think. Well, I don't know. I think it's a new week. Yeah, new week. Yeah, new month opening gap there. I just don't get why some of these are purple and some are blue. I don't know what's going on with the indicator. But yeah, we have a very bullish looking um, move happening here. Uh, Definitely have inverted this daily, just like at NASDAQ. And that also lined up with the new week opening gap forming. Um, yeah, I mean, I just think this is going to head higher eventually. We had SMT here, SMT here. So I would just be looking for a really easy 2022 model pullback and relong it. So I'd be watching Friday's candle. Um, Look for something to line up with that to get long into. So far it's displacing. So so yeah, SMT here. We have shifted. So yeah, maybe a pullback. You know, we did have these old relative equal highs, so maybe we pull back beneath this into the order block, line that up with the PD array, line it up with the new week opening gap, you know, long that. Would make sense too, because that would be the CE of the AM session. So yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for a short, but maybe NASDAQ soups these highs, and then that's the short into the long. So so yeah, if we just rip higher though on Sunday and we just, you know, I don't know if I'd look for that. That would be a little bit different. So, but yeah, other than that, I mean, very clear that this could set up. That'd be the only thing I'd look for, at least that's formed so far. We have SMT, SMT on this range. Um, we never had SMT down here, but we are getting SMT finally, and I think that's higher time frame enough because this low was the 22nd. If we just look at everything, the 22nd was here. Oh no, here. All right, we need to see everything. So yeah, 22nd. Wait, what? Oh, here. 22nd. That was. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I just think longs on Nasdaq might actually be pretty good this week, oddly enough. But you'd want to pair with ES, and then at that point you might as well trade ES if they're the right type of SMT for you to make it obvious. So, um, yeah, it does look like this is just setting up for another. If it's gonna be higher time frame short, it's gonna still probably want to soup this, just because this wasn't very deep when it took out the high here. Um, Same thing on there. All right, on SPY though, yeah, we've just displaced higher, and we do have those similar relative equal highs all through here. So that would make a lot of sense to trick everybody out and trade below this. I think it could hold this order block here, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that looks like a clean level. I'd look for a long into there if it gave it to us. Other than that, there may be a short if Nasdaq soups this, and then maybe we create SMT with ES, and ES is already coming down. So that could be a short too. Let me write that down. But we would need YM to also agree with what's happening. So, all right. On the smaller time frame, yeah, nothing else really. Yeah, nothing really to note there. I mean, there's a 5 minute. Not really. There was one here, so I could still see this coming down, but that's not something I would probably trade. All right. YM. Oh, YM just on a tear. Yeah, YM just really ripping. It's really displaced down here. A lot of choppy price action. But on the weekly, it is pretty clear. Like all the lows in here were all like SMT lows and stuff. So, but there was a shift here that did get rebalanced very cleanly there. That should have been obvious back then. And then here, balance price range. Daily or whoa, weekly is very clearly shifting higher. Daily, yeah, this was pretty clean. This had all been balanced, so it makes sense it didn't trade too deep into there. But yeah, so far, do we have a weekly? Not yet. On the daily, we do have some PD arrays now to look at. Got this one. I'm actually gonna make this like a very strong neon color there. All right. So yeah, huge gap and a gap and like a new week opening gap into the highs of that. Let's just match these colors up. All right. So yeah, daily very clearly shifting above the internal range. We have not shifted above these yet, but on the weekly we're starting to. So we'll see what happens if we can trade down into the CE of this. We'll just have to note that maybe as like a make that like a dotted line, dashed line. No, that looks like a little an alert. I don't want it to look like an alert. Make it pink. So yeah, we're just gonna look at that for a weekly candle discount on at least the body. So and you can delete that. On the daily though, it did just really rebalance this, so I wouldn't think it would need to come below here if it's gonna keep going higher. I think it would probably just take these candles out, maybe respect the CE of this wick. So I'll mark that out just as a point of interest there. I want this to be, maybe I'll make these pink, yeah. Yeah, it's too dark. And make this just a line. No? Yeah, alright. So yeah, uh, let me let me name this. So yeah, this could be a nice little area, possibly daily. That makes sense. I mean, this is a balanced price range. Um, with this wick digging pretty deep, so it could even come below that, down into the previous high. But we already did trade into that, so I'd have to look deeper into this. We did get a shift here. It's been respected, and we did play out, so it could easily come back down. And we do have some fair value gaps in here. We have nothing very clear though. We got smooth highs here, or lows, I mean. So those, I mean, that got souped already, so I'm just gonna ignore that. Highs aren't that smooth. These ones are pretty smooth though, which is wow, what we've been keying off of lately. So we souped those already. So it doesn't need to come down here, but it would make sense if we got to move up and then move back down for like a reversal, a bullish reversal like profile. Um, but if we zoom in, there we go. Yeah, that's what you want to see. So we've got relative equal lows here. This is starting to look really clean. Oops. So nice relative equal lows lined up with the discount. We've got the order block here with the wick CE and this order block here. So that would make a lot of sense for this to come down into here, respect this order block. Could even come down to here to tap this one. But I don't know if it would need to, since, yeah, I don't know, pretty tricky. But I'll label that just so that it's there. We already know that those are order blocks. That color is an order block for me. But I'll just make it a little bit wider here. But then if we go to the 15-minute, there's an order block here. So this could be the nice level to key off of, even onto this. So just got to be careful. Don't want to get greedy. So logically, you just buy that, risk that, and look for that, But I'd want to tune up that entry a bit more, look for a logical SMT on the smaller time frame to really increase the risk reward. So YM looks pretty clean. So yeah, maybe we'll come trade into last week's discount. Um, Makes sense. So maybe we could even look for a short into that. But I'd really want to see some other stuff. Probably the unusual whales flow. That may help with that. But yeah, this just looks too clean. We got this order block here. Maybe on the 5 minute. Yeah, there we go. There's the textbook order block right there. So I don't like that it's above the wick CE, but yeah, it is there. And this has all been technically balanced or whatever. This isn't whole order block, so I think it could play. It doesn't need to hit the wick CE. That's just where it shouldn't even go past. So maybe that actually is my setup there. That is worth a try for sure. I could literally blindly set that order in, and it would probably play. All right, yeah, makes sense. Keep. Oh, you know what? I've been forgetting to set alerts. Well, I'd actually be interested in something if, no. This is definitely the setup I'd be looking for. Why is it doing that? Oh, it's because it's in log. Yeah, we want an alert there. Other than that, don't really care. I mean, this low would be significant. We'd have to see what happens there, so I would set an alert there. Nah, I'd probably just watch price. Just gonna delete that. Okay. Yeah, that's the good read on YM. All right. Russell monthly. So Russell really got a nice move. Finally, November was the month, up 12% on the month at one point. Could have made an entire year's income from investing on that. But yeah, huge displacement here. I would actually expect this to finally hold since all this has chopped. This one held, but it wasn't displacing above anything. So this one will be really significant to confirm if it's going to trade into the all-time high. Which, if you know, you look at the actual Russell, it has. But we do have relative equal highs there. So that'll be a very obvious draw for a continuation to the upside. Um, yeah. So yeah, displacing higher on the monthly, weekly, still unclear, this wasn't as clean as you'd like, but it was there. It did display. If you look at the bodies, it did. So that's actually confirmed. Um, but looking at last week, I mean, it did have quite a small range for what you would have expected based on the price action. And we are trading into that weekly fair value gap, so that makes sense why we didn't just continue to explode. It explains why we're being weak. Um, so I could even expect us to probably come trade even lower. I'd be open-minded to that. Doesn't mean we need to, but I'm just open-minded to it. We can just delete these 4 hours. We've totally just displaced above here now. On the weekly, have we? No, okay. All right. This is a giant daily. Oops. Daily for value gap. So we've already traded into it, so I'll just put that there. Change this color. All right. Pretty tricky here. We've been weak versus the Dow, oddly. Um, This is just confusing me. What is this line? Let's see what this is. Ah. All right. Okay. So this is the weekly. Why is this not labeled? Come on, man. Why is it not labeled? All right, yeah, that's the weekly fair value gap. We've traded through it. Um, no signs of respect. Just randomly going through it. Got a bunch of wicks up here. Yeah, I mean that doesn't look like it's the daily is reacting to it quite a bit. I don't know. It does look like we would probably not probably, but it looks like we could easily come trade lower, sweep these lows. These are relatively equal lows. You line those up with the weekly close there, sticks out pretty well. Um, so we have relative equal lows there. It would make sense for this to soup this with YM being strong. So we'll actually place an alert there because that might line up with the thing we just saw on the Dow. Random inefficiency here. Price does like to refer back to those. Label that blue because we don't know what it is. Maybe it's a daily. All right, this was the 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yeah, that's just a daily new day opening gap. All right, we got a N dog there. At the same time though, we did have SMT here already, so I also could just see this heading higher. We have pretty smooth highs here, so it does seem like we could easily bounce here and take those out. But yeah, I'm still open-minded to that. I think these will definitely get taken at some point, but I'm also it's just not as clear. Maybe we need to zoom in some more. 4 hour. This new week opening gap is just kind of making things a little tricky, just because it like symmetrically just doesn't look super obvious and clean, especially with all these crazy wicks. But yeah, we did have a shift here, but then that got rebalanced and then rebalance like just inversed again and inversed again. So it looks like Friday did totally respect that. We came down, traded into the new week opening gap, um, failed at these highs, and now we're back. So I think this could still be a long. It literally could be a long right at the open. We'll have to check, but so far this is pretty unclean. We'd have to really do some analysis with SMT and see what's really happening here. Um, there's no shifts above. There's no shifts below. There's relative equal lows lined up with the the new week opening gap, and there's another new week opening gap down here. So makes sense to like come sweep that out, respect this order block, and then head higher maybe. So maybe we get a short. Maybe we take out these highs, then get a short or something. I don't really know. On the hourly, wait, 4 hour first of all. Just lots of things being disrespected here. You know, this gets disrespected here, inverts it, and then it's disrespected, and then now it's like respecting it, I guess. So kind of confusing. I don't like how this came above this candle and then just like chopped and then made a bunch of wicks that weren't into anything interesting. Maybe the daily. What is this? Yeah, I mean it is below that without yeah. It traded and has not taken out this low. Yeah, it's just not that clear. Like I don't like this wick out of nowhere. It's just Tough read there. But it is respecting this displacement so far. We have failed here, so I do think that this could still roll. Yeah, it's just not that clear. We'll have to get more information there. Um, why did this do this? That was the open. Okay. We just got so many smooth lows and highs. So, yeah. Yeah, we just need to see what else is happening here. The obvious trade is just on the Dow and ES and NASDAQ. This is a little too tricky for me. Um, unless we got like a displacement here, maybe on the 5 minute, kind of. Just very tricky. We'd have to see what news is going to happen next week first to really kind of get a picture. All right. So Monday we have PMI after the open. We've got jolts on Tuesday after the open, and then Wednesday we have another PMI. It's always weird to me when there's two of the same thing. But yeah, we've got red folder every day this week. A lot of them are after the open, and a lot of them are later in the day too. No. Yeah. Anyways, very volatile week. We've got non-farm payroll week. This should be a really good week for trading. So yeah, um, I don't really know what is happening here on Russell. It looks like it could go both ways. It looks like it could go long first and then take these out and then come manufacture this. But there is SMT here. That might be the low. I just don't like how we're not confirming it. I mean, there's this one, but again, it just kind of got, and then this one. This is respecting this order block though, after it traded into New Eight. Okay, we just need to see what's happening here with YM. Why does this seem darker? No, it's not. Okay. All right, so this low came in. We had SMT there. Let's just make sure that's marked out. Well, technically, it's this low, and we did take that out. We had, oh, yeah, I didn't really nuance that. Okay, so this low, yeah, this low on Russell was was the actual opposite SMT there. So we actually have bullish SMT, or hold on. So yeah, we had weakness here in Russell already, and then the opposite happened into here, where Dow Jones was weak into here. And Dow Jones, the one being manipulated, was the stronger long, while the long here, from here to here, where Dow Jones was stronger, first of all, we had this low here. So that was SMT with Russell being weaker, and then Russell got the bigger move. So whichever one's like weaker ends up getting the bigger move, kind of. So the bigger move here was definitely in the Russell, just for um, just eyeballing it, like the how big the range was. Just compared to, yeah, just compared to where we were. But I mean, the trade on YM was a lot easier, so I wouldn't say that necessarily. Just because it did have obvious highs to take out. And then here, YM was the manipulator, and that YM got the really big move. And then we came down into we got a soup here, and then higher highs all the way until here, and this was the low. So yeah, now we've got Russell taking out this low into the order block here. It would have been nice if there was SMT here. So maybe we can compare this to NASDAQ. But I mean, technically that is like, let's see. We had SMT. We just need to know what time these occurred at. Let's see what's significant. Wednesday was the GDP news. So Wednesday GDP news happened here. Nothing really happened there. And then we had Thanksgiving. And then Friday, kind of were a little crazy at the open. And then we had a really big long there on. So as soon as YM made like a higher high, that actually confirmed the long in YM. So now we made another lower low here versus YM. So yeah, I think that, I mean, that makes sense for a nice little long up into these highs. But it's just hard because the SMTs sometimes don't work. And this is a nice liquidity pool that we did soup. So problem is YM did take out that high already. So it's just a little tricky. But Russell does tend to move in like the last little leg, you know. So I think we just have to compare it to what's happening in the NASDAQ. All right, so this was the SMT here on NASDAQ, taking out all of these lows. So yeah, this was the low here. And then other than that, NASDAQ did create SMT here. And then YM, or sorry, NASDAQ created SMT into, oh, no, we also took that out. But Russell's been oddly very weak here. But it was relatively strong here as we came back into the new week opening gap and NASDAQ took out this low, which was that relative equal low area. And it, you need to see everything. And it souped this low, but everyone kind of did that. There was some relative strength here though. I don't know if I caught that. Into here. So yeah, we had some bullish SMTs forming here. And then we did get a nice little pop. So yeah, I think we'd want to see some bullish SMT occur while we want to see bullish SMT with YM while NASDAQ has been bearish. And this was, okay, this was the Wednesday low. Oh wait, no, never mind. So yeah, maybe Sunday creates a new week opening gap. We come back and trade into that. That would be actually a nice Sunday trade if that happened. But we'll see if that happens. Other than that, yeah, I mean, Nasdaq's actually higher than. It's weird that Russell's so weak here. Well, actually, no, that makes sense because Nasdaq is heading higher. So I would actually look for this pool of liquidity to be taken first before I wanted to get long. Yeah, that's okay. There we go. There's the logic that I've been trying to figure out. Okay. So yeah, I would look for confirmation that Nasdaq's actually going to be weaker. Not because I'm looking for the market to go down, but I'm looking for Nasdaq to sort of stall out, and then that would be like the rotation where they're selling and they're rotating that to Russell. So other than that, we do have bearish SMT, so that's why I wouldn't long this yet. The trades aren't as clear. It's a little complicated for that, and that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to trade complicated trades. I want it to be easy. So yeah, we got news every day this week. It's going to be a great week for trading. Um, yeah, really good week. Every day should be a good trading day. Um, as for the dollar, it totally is respecting that, and it's been the bearish PDRA that we've been watching. Gold is retracing up into the move it um, the displacement leg down. Silver SMT there. Oh no, never mind. Oh, actually there is SMT there. Silver is taking out this high. So it looks like gold's probably going to dump Sunday. Um, I'm going to stick around at the Sunday Open and look for something like that just because that looks pretty clean and pretty easy to me. Other than that, yeah. Uh, uh, that's about it for me. Oh, no. There's the flow. Just to cover the flow from Friday. Bullish flow, puts are on top, but most of the volumes in the calls. There was no, so they did get puts here. I think there is going to be a move down initially at some point. Let me pull up my Notion again. Flow shows puts rising into the close on Friday, though calls were on top and green volume. Market tide totally dumped the calls. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be an initial move down at some point. Not an initial move, but a short-term move down for sure. The immediate term. And then if we look at Qs, might as well load this up. What the? I don't know what's going on here. Maybe this is the whole day. Don't know what's happening here. Maybe I need to make full screen. There we go. Yeah, that was it. Funny. Q is very bullish. Calls rose sharply here, but puts also rose. So that kind of confirms. So Holdings did. Okay. That kind of confirms what happened in SPY just a little. And then Russell calls went crazy here into the morning, kind of waiting for that bounce to happen. The bounce happened, and they sharply took profits into that a little bit. But puts were rising too, so what about that? And there's enough premium on there to be excited about that. DIA, Dow Jones, they did also have not enough premium on there to care about. Never mind. But yeah, that is still kind of lining up. Cool. Yeah, so that's pretty significant. I mean, calls obviously rising with the move up. That's what should be happening. They did sell calls here, so that's funny. But calls spiked into the close, put spiked into the close. They disguised it with, you can see the volume actually came down. It came up a slightly into this move, but they did buy puts there too, and they did dump their calls there on the tide very, very significantly. From, what is that, 176 million down to 60. So they dropped 100 million, and the volume just not there though. So kind of weird. But yeah, I mean that's kind of odd to see that in the tide. That's pretty clear signal that we could reverse short term. So yeah, I'll have to come back to this. There's a lot of things that loose ends I haven't really figured out with Russell, and then the tide though that does kind of change kind of what I was thinking slightly. It does make not really because I was looking for a move down, so maybe we could look for some sort of short opportunity, um, even in Russell. But I do think that Qs may manipulate these highs, so just gotta be wary of that. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of the plan. I'll come back to this. I'll look at this on the open today and see if there's anything worth trading, maybe on the gold or something. But other than that,